Previously on Savage Unfiltered.
We shouldn't forget that. That was by an illegal immigrant that had no intentions of working a job. And also these illegal immigrants that are being bussed, they have no intentions. And if you really want to, like, for example, like, if the politicians want...
Sos, let me throw in a side comment to what you just said, buddy. These aren't the immigrants of how we would want to see them in. Let me rephrase that. These are not the original immigrants that you would see coming in through Ellis Island that want to better benefit themselves, that want to provide a better environment for their families and stuff. These are... Now, don't get me wrong, Sos. A lot of these people that you're seeing coming over the border... I want to agree a little bit with our friend Herby a little bit on this. Okay, there may be some individuals that can provide an economic purpose here for America, right? That can fill those jobs that most people don't want to go on a roof in 90-degree weather and hang shingles. Most people don't want to mow lawns and lay pipe and lay concrete blocks. I'll give them that. Okay, these are the people that we need. Right. Hold on, Sos.
Okay.
Yeah. Those people are hardworking Mexicans, Guatemalans, Central Americans. Those people are very hardworking. I see them here in Florida all the time on job sites. But you are right. Before I bring Herby back in, because I wanted to have a little side conversation with you. Okay, because I noticed any insights on it, and you're probably upset with some of the comments and the conversation we're having today. Sos, guys, if you're not aware, Sos is an immigrant, formerly from Russia. Came here when he was a little boy. So you literally are living the American dream. You escaped oppression, you escaped communism, but what you are seeing in America is what you would see when you were a little boy, right, in Russia?
Well, absolutely. And see, the thing is that, a lot of things that happen. Okay. And here's why this whole immigration thing is so prevalent. This is what a lot of people don't understand. There's a purpose to this open border policy. There's a purpose for it. It's not to help anybody. It's not to help us. It is to help.
Savage Gun. Real talk, no filter on Savaged Unfiltered. Savaged.
Step one, and I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to go through the steps of how to fix the border. And this is, by the way, I also agree with Sos that the Democrats want illegal immigration because they make an assumption that all these people will end up being Democrat voters, which, by the way, is complete bullshit, which is betrayed by the Cubans and the Mexicans here in Arizona, because once you start to make a little bit of money, it's kind of like Winston Churchill said, it's easy to be a socialist when you're not making any money, but the minute you do, you become a conservative. So, I mean, the Democrats' assumptions are bullshit. This is the reason that Donald Trump is grabbing...
You don't think that they're going to use those immigrants to buy out the vote? Herby?
No. But, by the way, big conspiracy theories, I reject all of them because there's too many people involved. I think a lot of these things are unconscious conspiracies. I think they exist, but not like there's a central planning room. Like, being a Jew myself, by the way, I reject large conspiracies like the protocols of the elders of Zion, secret Jewish plots to overthrow the world, bullshit like that.
Blizzard Entertainment presents Midnight, the newest expansion for World of Warcraft. Midnight calls every hero home to Azeroth. All paths lead to this moment. Xalatath rises, the Void follows, and the Sunwell stands in peril. Raiders, explorers, storytellers, newcomers, and legends alike. This is your world, your story, your moment. Because Azeroth is home, and home is always worth fighting for. Pre-purchase now at worldofwarcraft.com.
These things don't exist. However, let's talk about fixing the border. Let me just stop with all the other politics and get to it. Number one, we have to declare an amnesty. Now, before your head explodes, let me explain what I'm talking about. The only way we're going to control our border is to bring these illegals into the light where we can see them. And the way to do that is to offer them what I call an orange card instead of a green card. I know many of these immigrants, by the way, firsthand. I've known them all my life. All they want to do is work, and they'd like to go home. One of the reasons that they stay in the United States is if they were to go home and then try to come back, they'd have to try to cross illegally again. Most of them do not want to be U.S. citizens. I'm sorry, they just don't. They want to come here, do a job, and go home. They can't go home because of the border situation. If we were to declare an amnesty, we would give them an orange card. The orange card would give them a social security number and would allow them to work legally in the United States and to cross the border back and forth between Mexico and the United States at will. However, they would not be entitled to any federal welfare benefits whatsoever, and they would not ever be able to become an American citizen because they broke the law to come into the country, and there would be no path to citizenship for anybody who came in on the amnesty and took the orange card. I know that they would all take it because they don't want to be U.S. citizens. I can't overemphasize that. They're staying here because they're trapped here. They would much rather make some money, go out and pick fruit. And by the way, my family, the reason I lived in Nogales is my family's business is the fresh produce business. I've been around it my whole life. I've worked in the fields with illegal aliens side by side in Fresno in the summer as a kid. Yeah. I'm telling you, they don't want to be U.S. citizens. They want to work, take the money back to Mexico when the off season, come back and work again the next season and things like that. That's what they want to do. Let them. Someone's got to do it. You want to see the price of tomatoes and melons and everything else go down in the grocery store? Bring them into the open. Let them do their jobs. Stop making it difficult for them to work and pick and do the things that no American's going to do. And then let them go home at the end of the season and come back next year to do it again and do it legally. But they can't have welfare and they can't vote and they won't care. That's how we handle the existing immigration. Now, to the next part, what do we do going on? Number 2, we eliminate border quotas. Number 3, we establish U.S. consular offices that already exist in all the cities throughout Latin America where anyone can apply to enter the U.S. illegally and get a green card based upon a couple of, number 1, they must have no criminal record in the country from which they came. That would have saved the life of that nurse in Georgia who was killed by a Venezuelan who had a criminal record in Venezuela. Okay? So by making that they can come into the country, as long as they don't have a criminal record and they can pay their own way here, they should be able to come. They can't have welfare. They can work, and if they live here 5 years and stay here 5 years and do everything and pass the test that you were talking about, of course, they can become citizens like anyone else. But most won't. Most will do what the guys on the orange cards are doing. They'll come here, they'll work, they'll go home. Because they love being Mexicans. They love being Salvadorans. They love being, they're proud of their culture. They're not trying to leave their culture. They're trying to earn a living and then go home. That's all. Okay, now, then we get the workers that we need because they'll have Social Security numbers. They can help save our goddamn system. Now, how about the illegal ones? How about the terrorists? How about the Venezuelan criminals? What about them? Well, if we end the stupid drug war, we have the resources to police the border properly. Okay, so now if you're allowing everyone without a criminal record to come here and work and go home at will, and as long as they're not collecting welfare and paying their own way, they're nothing but a benefit. There's no economic argument to be made otherwise. Then you can concentrate the resources of the Border Patrol and of immigration on catching those few, and it is few, illegals, including a shoot on sight. I believe if you're trying to cross the border in a fully open border with legal immigration and you're still crossing, you are a clear and present danger to the United States and ought to be gunned down. I mean, listen, I am not for an open border. I'm saying let the legal, decent people come in because we need them, and let's stop wasting money trying to stop a problem we can't stop, and stop corrupting the Border Patrol, and stop corrupting ICE, and stop filling our prisons with people that don't belong there, and start fighting real battles that we can actually win instead of battles that nobody in the history of the world has ever won. Nobody has ever successfully prohibited anything, ever, in any country, anywhere. We are not going to be the first.
Yeah, I've been listening to you, listening to some of your ideas, some of your suggestions, but there's some things I agree with you on some things, Herby. I do.
Well, how would you do it? How
there's
would
some
you
things
stop
that
the
I
border?
don't agree. Yeah, one second. There's some things I don't agree with. I don't agree that that these illegals are here for the purposes that they're here for. Some of them are, don't get me wrong. Some of them want to provide a good livelihood. Yeah, some of them do.
Enemy of good is perfect. Enemy of good is perfect. Are there bad actors here? Sure.
Yeah.
But if we weren't chasing
one second, buddy. But what it comes down to is we do need a wall. Other countries have walls. They work tremendously. Where the problem is with the wall in our country is the screening. We don't have screening. We don't have proper security. We don't have proper technology at the wall. We don't have any of those issues, sir. We really don't. Other countries have the same amount of things over there that I just mentioned that we don't have here. They have technology, they have security, they have screening, they have all that. Herby, I'm going to close it out with you because we're running low on time.
Okay, let me.
They don't have that.
Okay,
make it real quick, buddy, because we're losing time on the show.
Okay, I'm going to make it simple. Name the country that has a successful wall. I'd like to know which country has a successful wall ever in the history.
Ukraine right now. Ukraine does.
Where's there a wall? Where's there a wall in Ukraine? Where's the wall?
Heavens forbid, we just kept throwing billions of dollars at Ukraine.
No. I'm not saying Ukraine's not a mess. I'm saying where's the successful wall? You just said walls work in other countries. Where has a wall ever worked? Ever in the history of the world, including the Great Wall of China, what wall has ever kept out a foreign invader? Go ahead.
Berlin.
Fill me in. Tell me about the wall. Was it the Siegfried Line that broke down in World War I? Was it the Great Wall of China that never kept the foreigners out? Was it the Berlin Wall that never stopped the emigration to and from the Soviet Union? Which wall ever worked? I'd like to know where these walls work.
But here's the problem: you just mentioned the Chinese Wall, right? You just mentioned the Great Wall of China. Sos just mentioned the Berlin Wall. Do these walls over there? Do they have the amount of immigration issues that we have here in America? Herby?
Well, when they were built, the Great Wall was built because the Chinese...
No, right now I'm talking about. Right now. Does the Berlin Wall, does the Great Wall of China have the same amount of immigration issues that we have here in America?
Europe has a worse immigration problem than we do in the United States. Europe's immigration problem is so much worse than
America?
Oh, much worse. Look, the Muslim immigrant population that's come into Europe illegally has destabilized all of Western Europe.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Belgium is hardly a country anymore. France is a disaster. These people do not assimilate. The one thing about Mexican Americans and El Salvadoran Americans and Nicaraguan Americans is that if they want to stay here, they assimilate. I count many of them as personal friends. I dare you to find the same level of assimilation of any Muslim going into Europe today. That's what's going on in Britain.
So why aren't a lot of these Hispanics and Mexicans and Guatemalans going over to countries like Germany or countries like Eastern Europe?
Well, because why would they go there when the world's best economy has always been here? And the Muslims have emigrated out of the Middle East and gone into Europe.
There's great economies in Europe. Is there not?
No.
There's great economies in Europe. I'm told by European friends that some of the greatest economy is in Europe.
Yeah, in Eastern Europe.
Is there not?
The hottest economy in Europe today is Poland, who permits...
In Eastern Europe. So why doesn't the Mexicans or Guatemalans go over to Eastern Europe to provide lives for their families there?
Because...
Why do they choose America right at the get-go?
Number one, how would they get there? And number two, the Polish, by the way, have very tight border security and will shoot them dead. There are no Muslim immigrants
how would they
in Poland.
Get there?
There are no Muslim.
They'll find a way to get there. That's like asking how did the Indians go from parts of Western Europe over to the Americas?
Can I finish the thought?
They're going to find a way.
Look at a map, man. Look at a map. Why would they go to Poland where they'll be shot dead at the border, or Hungary where the same thing will happen? Look, you can't compare the United States with Europe in any way. There's just no comparison to it. It's like comparing an apple and a pomegranate. They'll
be shot by certain Texans in Texas when they cross parts of Texas, shot and gunned down all the time by hillbillies over there. It's the same thing.
Anyone who wants to hear the rest of what I have to say can go to my Substack. I've written on this substantially. There are white papers on the 1964plan.org, which lay out all my reasons in detail, and I cite it, and I footnoted, and everything else, so people can know where I'm coming from. The bottom line is this: we're not going to control the 2,000-mile border. You're smoking. I don't know what you're smoking, but I want some. And I have to. And we're distracting from the real issue. The real issue is the Federal Reserve System is collapsing, and the United States is doomed. And everything else that we're doing, every other discussion you're having, is wasting time. We are heading into an abyss that we cannot pull out of. And neither Republicans nor Democrats have any idea.
Herby, when that wall was built under President Trump, illegal immigration was down.
You want to know why?
Down. So that wall was working.
You want to know why? Because President Trump, and this is where he was good. President Trump made a deal with the president of Mexico, AMLO, okay? And the deal was that AMLO would block immigration coming north at the Mexican southern border. And we gave a lot of money to the Mexican army, which is a good army, by the way, and not corrupt. There are other parts of the Mexican police system that are corrupt, but the army itself is not corrupt. And they were policing their southern border, and we were sending them billions of dollars to hold the immigration down there. President Biden, on his first day in office, reversed that policy, and that's why we are where we are. The wall had nothing to do with it. It had to do with Mexico stopping the immigration problem at their southern border, not our northern border. And we were not releasing them into President Trump's credit. When we did catch them here, we were not releasing them with a ticket to show up in court later. But none of that, none of that was going to hold. There's a presidential election in Mexico this year. They're going to elect a new president because they only serve one 6-year term. The next president can change the deal altogether. If President Trump does win, I'm sure he'll make a deal with Mexico again. I'm sure he'll try to recreate the same circumstance, and I'm sure it'll slow it down. But none of that makes any difference because we're doomed. You guys are all talking about something that doesn't matter. What matters is the Federal Reserve System's collapsing, and we're in the middle of the beginning of a depression that's going to be so bad that it's going to make the Great Depression seem like a happy memory. Every other discussion that we're having is a distraction from what's really going on. And any day now, you could wake up tomorrow morning and find out that our entire global economy is going into collapse. It's built on a system that has been undermined by President Biden, by abrogating Bretton Woods, and it's already come apart. The reason interest rates have not gone down as been predicted is because of this. The reason that people feel poor is because of this. The reason that inflation is not going away is because of this. And it's going to get so much worse. And if you want to know who's to blame, we should all just look in the mirror. All of us who take Social Security, all of us who take Social Security disability, all of us who take Medicare, all of us who take welfare, none of us are paying for any of it. It's all bullshit. It's all built on a pile of baloney money that is the party's over. And all these other issues you guys are discussing are very interesting, and so is the border, but it doesn't matter. The party's over. We need to start discussing what's coming next.
Well, if you want to, Herby, if you want to live like that and say, the party's over and this and that,
the party's over. I mean,
you're losing faith in your own country. I don't live like that.
No,
I have faith in my own party. I'm a Republican.
Change.
I have faith in being a Republican. I have faith in the party. I have faith in our country. But we got to fix our own country first.
Right, but we're not going to do that in the current political environment because we've destroyed the republic, and it doesn't matter. We have half the country that hates the other half, and then they're broken down into smaller tribal demographics because we abandoned the republic, and that horse is not going to be put back in the barn. They're not going to reinstate. They're not going to repeal the 17th Amendment. They're not going to repeal the 19th Amendment. They're not going to repeal the 16th Amendment. They're just not going to. We have fucked ourselves. It's too late. What we have to talk about now is what's going to come. I have tremendous faith in America, but let's start talking about what comes next, because this fighting over what's already lost is where we're going to really catch it in the asshole. There are going to be a lot of surprised people when they wake up one morning and find out their savings accounts are destroyed. Their dollar is worth next to nothing. You think toilet paper was a problem? Wait till the whole supply chain breaks down. You ain't seen nothing yet. And this idiotic conversion to an electric economy without any idea of what we're doing.
It already has. It already has.
It's just getting warmed up. You haven't even begun to see what's coming.
Yeah.
This is going to be really,
Herby,
really bad.
It already has, Herby. Yeah, it already has, man. I got to get going, but because we're losing time, guys. I want to thank Herby for coming on. Really interesting individual here, speaking about some of his book. You can read in his book there, the 1964 plan, as well as the 1964plan.org, his website. A lot of great information on there. Some things I agree, some things I don't. Sos, yeah. Thanks very much for coming on, Herby. I really appreciate it, buddy. Go ahead, Sos.
So I just want to tell you, Herby, hopefully...
No, he's off. Go ahead.
So I understand.
Yeah, go ahead, Sos.
So I understand where he's coming from as well. The importance of about the economic boom or the economic crisis that we're in. I agree with him on that. And but I also like
Savage.
disagree with him on talking about like the importance and how like this country can't sustain this much people all at once. Now we can't just like you can't handle it all at once. That's what's crippling.
For some strange unicorn delusion that he lives under, Sos, he apparently thinks that we have the currency in this country to support a large amount of immigrants, whether they're illegal or regular legal immigrants. We cannot afford it, man. If I was going to ask him this question, but let me ask my listeners here, Sos. If we can't even afford to house our fucking homeless on the streets here in New York City or any major city in this nation, how the hell can we afford immigrants that come into this country? How can we afford that, Sos? We can't afford to even house our homeless. How can we afford to house the damn immigrants?
Well, let alone we can't afford to house our veterans. Like we can't afford. Like the veterans are committing suicide left and right because they're not getting the proper treatment because they're prioritizing illegal immigrants more than anything. And I always find it like a lot of people don't understand. Like yesterday, you know how slap in the face it is for President Biden to go down to Brownsville, Texas? That is a big slap in the face because what do? This was a perfect depiction. Okay. They had to clean up 2 weeks before a president comes in. They have to clean up the city. They have to clean up and they have to get a 2-mile radius protected. So, of course, they didn't see the real thing. They didn't see the glimmer. And when President Trump went down there, he waved to the illegal immigrants. He waved and said, no, I'm coming. Like, this is who your next president is. He waved to them and he got to see where the action was happening. See, that's the thing that actually bothers me is that like, why don't you send him, like, why don't you go to a real place where it's actually being affected? Like the front lines, like Eagle Pass,
Sos, I want to put this out there for my listeners, guys. I had him on before, Herby Kay. He's a big political guy. He's former NSA analysis, and he's got a lot of titles under his belt, including he's got his website, the 1964plan.org. I highly suggest you check out that episode. We got into the good old days of America under 1964 when everything was great. It was, folks. Go back to the 60s and 70s. Everything was great. We didn't have all the fucking problems and mess that we're in now. That I give him to. I give credit to him on that. But I don't agree with a lot of stuff he said. Illegalize drugs? What the hell is wrong with you? You legalize drugs, you'll make the fucking immigration issues a lot worse than they are now. Well, Christ, you'll be having a whole shitload of bad people coming in, worse than they are now.
Well, not only that, but if you legalize all drugs, realize that they're going to start lacing things with different things, and they're going to come up with a creative.
What is wrong with these individuals? Yes, the border works. We just labeled something out. It slightly avoided that issue. The borders work. Go to places like the Great Wall of China. Go to places like Germany over there, or over near Berlin. Go over to Switzerland, like you just mentioned, Sos. These borders work, man. You know why they work? Because they have a government that's implying the fucking law.
Yeah,
that's why.
Well, look at North Korea. North Korea's got the tightest border security ever, and they have So another thing that I also want to address is this shows you how disconnected we become as a country, where you have a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, let's invite them in because they're going to help. They're going to help." But the thing is that the people that are coming across the border. Okay, some of them are families. But majority of them are not families. When you watch some of these videos, they're like Chinese people. They're coming in, and see, the thing is that they're not coming in like with like raggedy clothes. They're not coming in with raggedy stuff. They're not coming in with that. They're coming in with Lululemon shoes,
clean cut.
They're coming in with big purses, and they're coming in with like very many of them seem like they have money behind them. So you wonder who is paying. Well, I wonder who's paying. America is paying them to come into America. That's the thing. We are paying through these organizations, are coming into these are going into the countries and bringing them in here. That is the sickening.
He kind of did a 180 on the last episode I'm on. Like I said, we were talking about the good days of America, in the 60s and 70s, going into other direction with, how the border is. I didn't have this conversation with him at all. Excuse me. And he went to a complete 180 on the show. with like the borders don't work. It's a waste of fucking time. This and that. We're never going to round up the illegals. Oh, no. I think we can, Sos. I think we can round up the illegals when you have U.S. Marshals. And here's my plan on it. Here's the savage plan on how we can do this, because I got to wrap it up here soon, guys. It's a lengthy, heated episode. And I mean, a lot of views and thoughts being thrown out there. But here's the savage plan on how we can eliminate the problems that we have. Finish the damn wall to begin with. Should have been built 4 years ago. Okay, walls do work. You can see in other countries that they don't have nearly half of the immigration issues that we have here in the United States. Nearly half. I like how our recent guest here we just had on the show avoided that. They have issues. They don't have issues. They don't have nearly half of immigration. And the reason why the immigrants aren't going there, it's not because they can't get there. They can go on a fucking private plane from a freaking cartel member that can pay for them to go over there. There's one way of going over there. Fucking boats. They'll go on a raft and go around the intercontinental part of the world and get that way.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
They'll go through parts of Canada into Alaska to go over towards Russia. That little ice bridge, guys, that goes from Alaska over to Russia. Yeah, that's one way of going over to parts of Europe. There's ways of getting there. The reason why they don't go there is because they know the damn governments will not put up for it, will not stand for it. And here is the savage plan on how we can control immigration. Okay, guys? First of all, finish the border wall. I just laid that out. Secondly, round up a load of U.S. Marshals to literally circulate the entire country of America. Okay? Also recruit new U.S. Marshals. Recruit new FBI agents. All that. Get your federal agents rounded up and circulate each state. Find out where these illegals are going. Find out where they are staying, residing. Hell, it could be a freaking a landscaper's house or a contractor's office or something. God knows where the hell they stay, right? The backyard in a tent somewhere. Round them up that way. That's how. It's not going to get done overnight, Sos. It might take 5, 10, 20, 30 years. But you know what? Hellbent, it will get done. That's what needs to be done. That's how we have to orchestrate and carry out the rule of land and the law of this nation, guys. Final thoughts, Sos, 1 minute or less, and then we're going to dip out, buddy.
So I wanna say thank you so much. And this was a very heated episode. I should have probably not slipped up on some cuss words, but that was my bad. But from an immigrant standpoint, though, it is very important that we protect. Like, you have so many immigrants that come here illegally, spend thousands of dollars to take the test, to study hours, and all that. But then you also have immigrants that want to be here, and they do it the proper way. That's the big difference. You have immigrants that find a way to do it because they're like, you know what? No, I don't want to be the staff that's saying, oh, well, out of pity, oh, no wonder why you came here. No, if you really want to come to America, if you really want to follow the American dream, you would find a legal way of becoming an American citizen. These people that are coming across the border, they don't want to live the American dream. They want to cripple this country, and they want to make other people, they want to live off the backs of us. And so with this in mind, thank you very much. And remember to keep it saucy. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to Echoes with Sauce.
Yeah, 1 second, Sos, before we dip out. Guys, as I close out here, I want to thank all my listeners here, some of Sauce's listeners, Echoes with Sauce, for tuning in. And always, guys, we'll put up here in the upper left-hand corner, check out our website, savagedunfiltered.com. All the information could be found on our video and audio content on there, as well as snippets, clips, and general information. And if you'd like to be part of this show, guys, as a guest, an on-air personality, email us, unfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. Always to have somebody coming on here explaining their story, whatever background you may come from. With that being said, guys, be savage, not average. Take it easy.